Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today's March 24th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. We have the state of California here, is Nevada and Arizona. Take a look at the overlay Doppler radars and all the lightning strikes we had across much of the state here yesterday, and it went on for a while. You can see all the individual flashes out there across some of the transverse ranges, and peninsula ranges even got a couple strikes as well as some of the high desert, and we are going to do something similar here today. You can see we still have the shower activity going on, some of that cold air aloft moving down across the region, so eyes on the sky today. We're also going to take a look at some dynamic systems showing up in some of the model runs here as we go on in through next week. We'll go through those details. We go through the video this morning. Also taking a look at the chance of thunderstorms. Does include Yuba City, Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, Sierra Nevada, and Reno here. Watch out for the small hail, the lightning, brief heavy rain, gusty winds, and even brief funnel clouds are possible. And again, that is for today, March 24th. This is Sacramento National Weather Service. Los Angeles also mentioning the thunderstorm potential as well, especially across the higher terrain, but you can't rule out one of those drifting down out over some of the Los Angeles metro area, even some of the coastal waters here as well. So heads up for that. There's some high surf advisories ongoing right now, some wind advisories. We got some strong winds, pretty dynamic stuff coming up here. And you can see the high surf and hazardous ocean conditions all the way through Monday. Some strong rip currents out there and some gusty winds as well. So you guys know the drill here. It's impacts and actions. Pause that if you need to look at that further. And again, a closer look at the chance of thunderstorm activity here, and you could get some dangerous lightning out there and some small hail. So when thunder roars, go indoors if you want to be absolutely safe. Nice graphics from the National Weather Service Los Angeles. Taking a look at San Diego and the precipitation timing and intensity, and you see these snow levels are not that high with some of the shower activity here. So you could get some snow for the higher terrain, and that may be a reoccurring theme here as we go towards the end of March. We'll look at some of that here in a moment. Donner Summit here, we're for the most part wrapped up a lot of this snowfall across some of the passes, but there's still the showers around, so you cannot rule out some additional accumulations. Snow levels kind of hovering around 5,000 feet for a while. More snow in the forecast, though, as we go through next week. Today's forecast, you can see some gusty winds out there, especially across California, even Sierra Nevadas. And you can see Las Vegas here has a chance for some precipitation here as we go. In Arizona, and, Utah, and portions of California. A lot of areas have a thunderstorm chance as we go through the day today. And this is for Arizona. There's Phoenix, about 25% chance. Better amounts if you go north and east. And there's still some snow for the higher terrain showing up there as well. As you can see, it's still March. Snowfall forecast through tonight. You could get 6+ inches for some areas. And if you look down here, you can see Phoenix and there's Globe and the higher terrain off to the north and east, and some gusty winds as well, gusting up over 40, 45 miles per hour. Some areas off to the east, even up towards 50. So if we look at the North American model, high resolution, here's the state of California. And as we scroll through the day today, you can see the shower activity. Some of these are going to contain lightning out there. So heads up, it could be impacting Las Vegas, some Southern California, Los Angeles, or San Diego metro could get a thunderstorm, especially across the higher terrain. Arizona, lightning incoming today as well. And then this system should be sliding off to the east. And by Monday, we're going to have the chance across Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and then probably again on Tuesday as well. You can see that shower activity continue. And then our eyes for California turn back to the north and west as we have some pretty robust systems moving into the Pacific Northwest. Frontal systems should be impacting us. I'll show you more on that here in a moment. If we look at lightning flash density potential today on the high resolution rapid refresh, you can clearly see we have that potential across much of the state of California. Again, Utah, Arizona, off into New Mexico here. Pretty widespread thunderstorm activity as we go through the day today. But by the time we get towards tomorrow, that should be pushing off across Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico here, and kind of a lesser threat there. Now, looking at day one, I talked about this for the last few days. No doubt there's going to be an upgrade, and sure enough, here it is. And you can kind of see how it encompasses much of Central and Southern California, most of Nevada, Arizona, and Utah. This is for day two, pushes off to the east. So looking at some of the winds as well, as this system moves down across the area, you can see the continued strong winds as we go through this afternoon and evening. And don't let your guard down, because it's going to remain blustery as we go through Monday afternoon. Kind of an uptick here as that low pressure kind of pulls off to the east. And then we start to wane things as we go through the day Tuesday. But then our eyes will turn back to the northwest for these next systems. Also looking at 500 millibar temperatures, I like to show you guys what's going on at the upper levels of the atmosphere. This is at 18,000 feet. And you can see the cold air moving off to the east. That's why the thunderstorm threat should be coming to an end as we go through tomorrow for California, and then we start to watch off to the west. Now, taking a look at that extended forecast, now the European is on the left, the GFS is on the right. Let's compare the models and see what they show coming in our future. There's that strong system right off the coast Pacific Northwest. This is likely to drive a fairly decent frontal system through the state of California, probably falling apart, not getting down towards Southern California. But this next storm system has some interesting features to it here, as it's got a good moisture tap and potentially bringing a strong frontal system into the state of California, which would impact Southern California here. You can see the GFS a little bit closer to the coastline there, so not as good of a moisture tap there. But there's these disagreements have been showing up, and this is kind of to be expected for the most part here. Now, let me show you what the European versus the Canadian shows here on the right. Things even get a little bit more tricky here. We're going to scroll off into the future a bit more so you can kind of see this scroll through. There's that initial frontal system here. There comes a second one. The Canadian wants to hang this off the coastline a bit more. So still some big model disagreement on what is going to happen with that storm as we go towards the end of this upcoming week. But the European has been pretty steadfast, bringing quite a dynamic storm to the state of California. And you can actually see once this starts to pivot towards the coastline here, it's actually bringing some decent amounts of precipitation back up into Southern California here. So definitely a lot to watch here as we go through the upcoming week. Here's the European total snow 10-to-1 ratio. This includes what was falling last night and early this morning across the Sierra Nevada, and maybe a few more inches up there with some of that shower activity. But then we get the break as we go through Monday. Not much happening as we go on in through Tuesday here. We go to Wednesday, and then we start to bring some of the snow back on the day Wednesday. That's that next frontal system rolling in here. Should be central and northern California. Then that next dynamic storm sets up, and you can see March kind of going out with a bang here. Has some pretty heavy snowfall amounts are showing up even down towards Southern California. That would be very beneficial for the Sierra Nevada here. So we'll cross our fingers for that, but still a long ways to go. It's still a fantasy forecast looking out towards the end of next week, but signs are showing a storm organizing off the coastline. If we look at the North American model, this only goes out 84 hours, but I just kind of want to show you this is also an agreement, at least with that initial system as we go all the way through hour 84, and that frontal system impacting California probably on some point during the early morning or late afternoon here across much of northern and central California. That would be Wednesday afternoon here. We'll see if that trends faster or slower. But if we look at the 6 to 10 day, you can clearly see the bullseye here across the southwest as we go through the end of March into early April. And this is the 6 to 10 day precipitation. Now, I'll look above average signal here across much of the southwest. 8 to 14 day, much of the west below average here all the way through April 6th. And still got that above average signal for much of the southwest here as we go through April 6th. And I like to show that snow water equivalent map here. And you can see this is the areas that it does measure, the northern Sierra, central, and southern Sierra here. So when I show you that and it's the entire state, you kind of know exactly what it's showing here. So we are above average. And with a couple more rounds likely to come through the end of March, we should continue to be doing quite well. We're almost at that point where we start the downward decline of that snow water equivalent here. So building that up right about now will definitely help us. But yeah, eyes on the sky again today. Thunderstorm activity, no doubt, across much of the state. Nevada under the gun here too as well. Utah and Arizona also. So yeah, heads up for that. And if you guys do see a funnel cloud and you want to message me on Twitter or find the email here on the YouTube page, go ahead and send me some of your pictures out there. I know some of you guys like to do that sometimes. But anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. We will do this again tomorrow. We'll break everything down and check out the extended forecast, and I will talk to you guys then.